Hello, folks. How y'all doing? All right. Well, I am Bill Lancaster from Bilco Productions out of Bristol, Virginia. I am one half of a husband and wife team. My lovely wife couldn't be here today because she was doing responsible things like working. So, anyways, uh, so she couldn't be here. But anyway, she is the other half of this. She is the writer, narrator, co-everything. We are self-taught. We work for ourselves uh, right now, and on the side, we've been doing these documentary movies. This is our second in a Bigfoot trilogy, and I'll talk more about that after the film is over. But just to kind of give you a little overview of what you're about to see, this isn't an action adventure movie. This is a documentary with a lot of information in it. It's an hour and a half from the very beginning to the very end, so about an hour and 25 minutes of very important information on the subject. So if you're looking for resources, our first movie, Cultured Bigfoot, about the Bigfoot community, and then this follow-up, Paranormal Bigfoot, and then we got a third one that's almost done, Native Bigfoot. But I'll just read the back of this so it kind of gives you a little preface to what we're doing here. Paranormal Bigfoot is an investigation into a segment of the Sasquatch community that believe there is more to this enigmatic creature than a simple animal. An uncomfortable and divisive topic for those desirous of representing themselves as scientifically credible, yet the question remains, can scientific process be claimed until even the strangest of evidence is accounted for? That being said, we call this movie a comparison of perspectives. My wife said we should have said Paranormal Bigfoot. We went there because what got us into this segment of it was the people they call the woo crowd, which is not meant to be a nice term. It's meant to be woo, because they think they're interdimensional, stepping in and out of portals, shape shifting, and all this kind of stuff. So what we've done here is we've presented some folks that shared their opinion on these fantastic supernatural paranormal aspects of the creature, but we also have some folks who say this can be explained otherwise. So you're going to see notable folks like Ron Moorhead in here, Stan Gordon, and even Bob Gimlin in here, and even a professor from the University of North Carolina. We've got about 9 different interviews interwoven through here, and so anyways, we hope you enjoy this. I do have the DVDs of both the movies for sale back here. They're normally $15 each, but they're 2 for $25. Do have a credit card reader because my wife is smart like that and sends me with one of those. But anyways, when the movie gets done, just so you know, folks, so that we can see the film a little bit better, they're going to turn the lights off when we start the movie here. So please, if you have to get up, be careful. And then we'll turn them back up, and I'll come up here and I'll do a little Q&A. If you've got questions and you want to know a few things, whether it's about the film itself or about the filmmaking process, throw them at me. And if you want me to talk for 5 minutes, I'll talk for 5 minutes. And if you want me to take the other 30 minutes, then I'll talk for 30 minutes. So anyways, I hope you enjoy the film. Let me get this started here.
Are you a Bigfoot skeptic? Is the notion of an undiscovered primate inhabiting the forests of North America a little far-fetched for you? I'm about to tell you it gets a whole lot weirder than that. Well known to the Bigfoot community is the documenting of the encounters of thousands of eyewitnesses. Most of these sightings fall into categories of road crossings, glimpses caught by hunters in the woods, and distressing accounts of farmers losing livestock to a predator larger than even a bear. The more these accounts are shared, the more certain details emerge that suggest traits and behaviors that are rare or non-existent in the known animal kingdom. Following are the experiences and hypotheses of those brave enough to re-examine the nature of reality as it is popularly understood.
When I first started my Facebook group, Pennsylvania Sasquatch Research, I was talking to this one woman in a comments section. It was just a brief conversation, but she said that she gets visited by Bigfoot and that they appear next to her bed in her bedroom and that they mind speak to her. And she found it a very enlightening, encouraging, good experience. To this day, I don't view it that way. I don't think anything or anybody coming into my house uninvited is a good thing.
If there's one thing that I'd like people to know or to realize is that we have to work together. And if there's one thing else I've learned, that none of us are nearly as smart as we think we are, because there are gigantic secrets in this universe that we're not even aware of. And it helps that if we ask these questions and work together, we're going to feel a lot less alone out there.
Alrighty, folks. Thank you. I appreciate that. I hope you enjoyed the film. I hope that you understand this is less than ideal situation for viewing and for listening, because all of your sound was kind of compressed into this. And so anyways, just bearing that in mind, the content was what we really wanted you to see and hear, and the information and everything. And so at this point, does anybody have any questions they would like to ask about the film itself, the filmmaking, or anything? And I'll be happy to answer what I can. Yes. Yeah, yeah. Of course, Tony, a lot of folks will know Tony more famously from his The Confessionals podcast. And you can find that on Facebook. And I believe his is PSR, Pennsylvania Sasquatch Research Group on Facebook. Yeah, you can still, he doesn't get to go out as much. He's a full-time truck driver, like a city driver kind of thing, for a company up in Pennsylvania, eastern Pennsylvania near Philly. And his podcast has just blown up. And so he works and he comes home and works until about 3 or 4 in the morning, and they've got a new little boy too. So anyways, he's still involved, but he doesn't get to go out as much as he did, and we still keep in touch enough that I know that he's got some stuff lined up to go back out, but he's actually done several expeditions, and he gets into a lot of the caves and stuff like that. So does that answer what you want to know? Well, his outlook on it is what a lot of folks have really gotten. The further you get into this, including a lot of the stuff that me and my wife have learned since we've gotten into this side of the community, we were the armchair researchers before it was armchair researchers. We listened, we read, we listened to podcasts, we watched documentaries and all that stuff like that. And we were kind of like him. It's just really neat. It's up in the Pacific Northwest. I'll never have to fool with it or run into it in the woods while I'm deer hunting or anything. Once you got into this and you started hearing about this paranormal aspect and these very weird, supernatural, scary type aspects, if an 8-foot big hairy creature isn't scary enough, then it can disappear or zap you or something like that. Then you get into that, what is this? And when you look at stuff, and we literally got some of the apocryphy, the stuff that's outside of the canonized Bible that is greatly accepted by the world today. And when you read into the Nephilim and the Book of Giants and stuff, I swear there's just too many tie-ins to make you go, well, that would show the human aspect of it. That would show the level of intelligence of it. That would show are they using you or are you using them aspect of it. And, it would show that they can be nice, but they can be nice for a reason, if you're looking at the Nephilim tie-in. And so he, like a lot of folks, is kind of leaning heavily towards the fact that would, and if you look at it that way, that would really explain a whole lot of the stuff, why we can't get a good picture, why we can't find a body, why they are physical and we find footprints, but they seem to disappear. Well, if you look at that side of it, then you're like, well, that's it. That's what it is. It doesn't have paranormal. Paranormal is just a definition outside the norm. It appears to have supernatural aspects, and that's where, like himself in particular, he strongly believes that that's what's going on, that it is definitely some of the giants of old and the Nephilim. And I mean, you hear it from a lot of them. And I mean, even Ron Moorhead, he leans towards that. And it's one of those things that the more I know about it, the more I'm wondering how much further we should look into it, because now I'm not just fascinated at, oh, it's a really big creature we just haven't discovered that's its own species out in the wood. Now is this something we should actively be looking for? And that's why we try and show both sides of it here for you all to make up your mind. We're not selling one opinion or another, and that's why we try and make it balanced like that, because there's going to be questions like that right there, but there's going to be the people. And my wife, if you were able to see at the very end, she thanked the people in the film, because the people that are in the film is the reason it's possible, but they're also the ones that are putting themselves out for scrutiny and ridicule, because not everybody in the Bigfoot community is going to accept their perspective, whether it's Professor Darby Orcutt basically poo-pooing everything, or it's people like David, Arla and the others that are saying, no, there's something really wild going on here. Does that kind of further get it? Sir. Well, Christopher Noel has just released a new book, Mind Speak, Sasquatch on Sasquatch, and he is one of those that he accepts that there are paranormal, not supernatural, paranormal abilities to the creature, and he says they can be explained by electromagnetic fields and stuff like your bats and sonar and your dolphins and echolocation. He thinks it's something that is particular to that species that we necessarily don't have the ability to do. And I appreciate you saying that, because that's what we try to do, was show just a wide thing. And to be honest with you, I don't know if you'd noticed on the screen, but it said fourth and final cut, because this thing went through 4 cuts, and the first cut was 3 hours and 48 minutes long, because honestly, folks, there's so much good stuff, but we were worried making it an hour and a half that people just wouldn't watch it. And to be honest with you, 50 minutes to an hour and 15 minutes is about the attention span time. And we don't have action, gunshots, and UFOs flying through the sky. Ours is information. And so, anyways, we are planning on, by the way, because we have so much, each one of these people was, 45 minutes to an hour and a half interview. We're on Amazon, Bilco Productions, and every movie's got its own thing. We're looking at releasing Bilco Productions Bigfoot Archives, and what I'm going to do is take pretty much, except for me or my wife talking to them and asking them the questions, we're going to take those interviews and try and release them onto Amazon, not in DVD or anything, because I just don't think it would be worth that. But we're going to try and release them over the next year and have kind of a little series of Bilco Production Bigfoot Archives, so that you can listen to nothing but Ron Moorhead, bless his heart. He was sitting in my little pop-up camper in the hottest part of July last year and sat there for an hour and 45 minutes, and we talked, and talking about the lightsaber floating through the camp and stuff like that, and really gets into a lot of interesting stuff that, you got about, overall, you got about 15 minutes of solid interview with about 9 different people there. But we had, on average, 45 minutes from each one of them. And so we've had enough folks that have asked some questions like that we're like, well, we got to figure out a way to share all of this stuff, because the people gave us the permission to use all of this stuff. And so we're going to try and put that out there, and probably try and put something like that on Amazon Prime, to where if you've got an Amazon Prime account, you can just go watch it, So, any more questions? All right. Well, folks, I'm back there in the corner. If anybody would like a DVD copy of either one of the films, so that you can see it, how it's supposed to be seen and heard and everything, they're $15 each, but we do them 2 for $25 at the events. We have posters and t-shirts also. And if you're not wanting a physical copy, you can go on Amazon and you can rent and download them. The first movie, Cultured Bigfoot, which if you like this, I'd highly suggest that you rent, download, or buy Cultured Bigfoot, because it's 23 interviews with why people in this community do what they do, from Cliff and Bobo to Dr. Meldrum. I mean, it's just a list of who's who in the community there. And stay tuned, because I should have been home this weekend finishing editing, but we are very close to being done with the 3rd in this trilogy, Native Bigfoot. We spent 15 days, 22 states, and Canada, speaking with Native Americans and First Nation Ojibwe, Native American Cherokee, Apache, and Yakima. And you will be fascinated at the interviews we've got. When you get to, everybody says the secret lies in the Native American culture. They just accept this and know that it's been here. But it's really interesting to see, some of them say it's good, some of them say it's bad. They say it lives in the 2 worlds, the spiritual and its physical. And so it's going to be absolutely fascinating content for it. And who knows, maybe we'll throw a gunfight in it so somebody else will watch it, But anyways, look us up on Facebook, Bilco Productions, Native Bigfoot, Paranormal Bigfoot, Cultured Bigfoot. Thank you for your time, and hope you enjoyed it.